Hello and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Chapters, or Vampire the Masquerade Chapters. Why was I going to say Chronicles? I don't know. Um, Tonight we are doing Chapter 4, The Apartment, and as I mentioned in the playlist description that this is in, note that you didn't hear that wrong. The last video we did was Chapter 2, A Ghoul at the Flour Mill. In that chapter, we unlocked Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. But based on some of the things that were said about Chapter 3, because the ghoul we met in Chapter 2 indicated the Sabbat was looking to fight a beast that was in the sewers. And Chapter 3 is going into the sewers. Figured it was very likely there was going to be a big fight. The book said we can choose whichever order we wanted to do these in. So we're going to do Chapter 4 before Chapter 3, because that will give us a little bit more XP, and we should be able to either level up another discipline or potentially some of our other skills or something. So, Chapter 4, The Apartment. You look up at what is a very shitty-looking building. The decrepit, graffiti-stained walls, the broken windows, the screams, the junkies shoving needles in their arms into the awning by the entrance. This place is the creme de la creme, all right. You look at the set of keys Ettiene gave you. Tied to it is a small note with his address scribbled on it. Looks like this is the place. You make your way inside the small entrance and look at the names of the tenants on the panel next to the door. There's an old, half-torn sticker with the name Saint-Denis on it. You unlock the door and make your way inside. The elevator is out of service, of course. You briefly scan the room for a way up and see a pair of spiraling staircases. You climb up in search of the third floor. The junkies' loud exclamations dim as you make it to the first floor, only to vanish entirely once you reach the second. They're instead replaced by shouts, loud TV sounds, and babies crying. Then finally you reach the third floor. Objective: investigate the ghoul's place to find out more about what he was making. Action: read event E1. If you are playing as Nico Miller of Clan Toreador, you get a -1 die to all checks. Nico's Toreador nature means that he does not like being in dirty places such as this. So, Event 1. It's on page 107. Searching the ghoul's place. You make it to the ghoul's apartment. Upon arriving, you notice the door has been busted open by someone. Could it be the workings of the Sabbat? Perhaps they wanted to erase any clues that might trace back to them. You hear the neighbor's TV blasting loudly. He's ironically complaining about the damn noisy junkies next door. Looks like Ettiene wasn't someone you want on your floor. You feel like telling the loud man his ghoul of a neighbor will be quite silent from now on, but you refrain yourself for obvious reasons. Even from the small glimpse you've been getting of the inside of the place, you can tell it's disgusting. Everything's been left in a state of disarray. Various items, including actual trash, are littering the floor. You slowly push the busted door open some more. It lightly creaks and you frown. Looks like you're going to have to be extra careful if you don't want to get caught. Explore the area in order to gather clues as to the creature's true nature. So, seeing as we're sneaking around the apartment, we are going to go ahead and activate stealth mode. Again, we were not hungry at the end of last game, so we didn't do a feeding event. We did lose a couple of our cards because they weren't used by the end of the event, or the event of last chapter. But we do have the Vampire's Oath card, which we keep until we're told to discard it. So, inventory-wise, we still have the Brass Knuckles, Special Umbrella, Old Boots, and the Lockpicking set. So, let's start off. Let's go for number... one's right there, so let's go for number 1. Event 1, which is going to cause it, or Investigation 1, which is going to cause us to lose our stealth when we activate it. Page 91. Mystery door. You spot a door near the apartment entrance. You walk up to it and grab the door handle, which you then try to twist open with no success. Door is locked. On the doorknob, you spot some finger traces left by some kind of white powder. Something else grabs your attention, however. An odd smell. Perhaps if you focus, you can tell what it is. Make a mental plus awareness check. 0 to 1 successes, read IN1. 2 plus successes, read IN2. I also checked the errata for this chapter. There is no errata currently for this chapter, so everything should be exactly as the way it's intended. So we do automatically have 2 successes on awareness, but we still have to roll. So 1, 2, 3 dice. And we got an extra 3 successes, bringing us up to 5. So, IN2. Mystery door. Something smells odd and very strong. You sniff in an attempt to better decipher the nature of this odor. It smells like chemicals. If you had to guess, you'd say it smells like nitric acid, the kind that's used to melt metal. Could the ghoul have used this to forge the ammunition? Remove Investigation Area 1 from the tile and resume playing. So let's go investigate. We're going to reactivate stealth again. Go investigate number 2 just before we go after number 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing's happening yet, so 1, 2, 3. Investigation 2. Page 95. One man's trash. You advance inside the living room. There's a bunch of trash on the floor, rotting leftover food, discarded boxes, and a host of other things, including flies fluttering around the whole thing. You lean over in the hopes that you can perhaps detect some clues left behind by the ghoul. Make a mental plus search check. 0 to 2 successes, read IN1. 3 plus successes, read IN2. So, neither of our abilities will give us a bonus for this. So we're not going to activate any disciplines currently. And, I mean, we've got 2 successes as it is, so it's likely we're going to get it. But, yeah, we did. So we've got 6 successes. So read IN2. One man's trash. Upon further inspection, you discover a couple of discarded blunts, porn magazines, and a bunch of other things you'd rather not think about. Who even buys porn mags these days? You're about to give up when a roach catches your attention. It's crawling on top of a piece of clothing. Casually slap it out of the way and pull out the piece of clothing, causing more trash to fall over. Underneath this extra pile of junk, you find a couple of straws. When you bring them close to your eyes, you notice residues of a thin white powder. Looks like the ghoul was doing drugs. You then lean over and pick up the piece of clothing from earlier. It's a glove. You find the second one. It's been thrown away not too far. The thick material they're made of seems to indicate these are working gloves. Not too far from the second glove, you also spot a breathing mask. The ghoul is definitely making the ammunition here. You decide to keep investigating the apartment. Take the meticulous effect card and remove investigation area token number 2 from the tile. So let me grab the event card. Or the effect card. Meticulous. +1 success to your next search check. Discard after use or at the end of the next chapter. So, given how much this one's pulling on search, I'm sure it's going to be used here in just a minute. So, let's remove that. And we're going to make our way back to number 4 because I'm sure number 3 is going to involve the wife here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Page 103. Something brewing. You observe the room before you. It's a kitchen. You notice the saucepan, the kitchenette. The smell from earlier is back, this time much stronger. A couple of melted gray stains can also be found all over the counter. Hits you all of a sudden. That smell. It is nitric acid. Another glance at the counter stains confirm the hunch you've been having this whole time. The ghoul was making silver bullets. Judging by the host of other equipment you find, it looks like it wasn't the only thing he was making either. You decide to search through this place, see if you find anything worth taking. Make a mental plus search check. 0 to 2 successes, read IN1. 3 plus successes, read IN2. Well, we had 2 successes to begin with. Meticulous is going to be used. So that'll give us 3 successes right out of the gate. And 4 and 5. Read IN2. You step on something and look down. There's a couple of silver bullets on the floor. Take the silver shells item card and the silver bullets item card. You pick them up. As you get closer to the counter, you notice a knife. Its reflection briefly glistens in the night. You seize it and put it aside for later use. Take the silver dagger item card. You decide to head back when suddenly you hear a voice. Hey, is somebody there? Okay, so real quick, we discard this because that's been used. And we need these item cards. 48, 49, and 50. Silver shells, plus 2 damage to the werewolf if you have shotgun equipped. Silver bullets, plus 1 damage to the werewolf if you have handgun equipped. Silver dagger, when combined with a weapon combat card, deals plus 1 damage to the werewolf. Yeah. When it mentioned his silver necklace, I kind of had a feeling it was going to be the werewolf. That was the stretch goal that shows up in the sewers. Someone's knocking at the door. Read event E4. Nosy Couple. You check to see if the locked door from earlier can be opened from the inside. Eureka. You unlock it. Well, I mean, we already had unlocked. And in just a few strides, you reach the door. Hi, is everything all right in there? We just got home. We saw somebody busted your door open. It's a woman holding a man by the arm. A couple evidently, and a nosy one at that. Set all players in the nosy couple on the designated hexes. So, we get moved here. That gets removed. And the nosy couple are number 28. Nosy couple. Read Nosy Couple Dialog D1. Page 53. Someone's at the door. Hi, you greet them. They're clutching onto each other, clearly tipsy. Hey, sorry to bother you. We saw at your door. It's like busted and all, the woman says. We can tell them someone broke into the house, but everything's fine now. Or scare them off with a social plus intimidation check, difficulty 3. Right now, put all our silver stuff out of the way because it's not going to help us right this second. Also, that's off the table right now. We get +1 intimidation. We get +1 die for intimidate attempts from Thomas. We'll tell them someone broke into the house. Too curious for their own good. Someone broke into the house, but it's cool now. No one was injured. Oh, thank God, the girl says, clutching her chest. Man throws you a suspicious glance. Wait a second, this is Etiene's house. It is. What are you doing here? We're going to say we're friends of Etiene's. Kinda. We can say we just moved in, which is D5, or we're friends of Etiene's, which is D6. We're going to go with friends of him. Good friends. He sent us here to get some stuff for him. The girl smiles politely and nods. Oh, I see. You can tell she's trying very hard to keep together despite the alcohol. Her boyfriend eyes you suspiciously. Friends, you say. Yeah? Funny, he never mentioned you before. What do you mean by that? Read D12, or so, read D13. Honestly, we can go with so, because, I mean, Do you mention your friends to everybody you know, especially your neighbors that you might not be friends with? So D13. Good friends. He frowns at your dismissive response. He's my friend too. See, I find out a bunch of people I've never seen or heard just happen to be in front of his doorstep at 3 a.m. when his door is busted. Doesn't look like he wants to leave it alone. Make a mental plus insight check, difficulty 3. Okay. So we've got 2 successes. Okay, so I mentioned that the errata says there's nothing wrong with this one. I'm wondering if that might be a mistake because insight is under social and not mental. So I'm wondering if that's supposed to be social. So I'll email that in about that. But for the moment, we're going to run it as it is. So we have 2 successes to insight with 3 dice to roll with mental. And that gives us 5 successes. Read D15. Double deal. Your eyes widen and you smirk. Things suddenly make a lot more sense. Come here. You gesture for him to come closer. He doesn't comply, instead stares at you warily. We have something to tell you. He seems slightly anxious as he takes a step toward you. You immediately lean over and whisper something in his ear. You're not his friend. You're a dealer. The man blanches, mouth agape at your accusation. What? No, of course not, he exclaims. You are. His girlfriend looks at you both in confusion. This seems to snap him out of it, and he immediately walks up to you once more and whispers, Shut the fuck up, you bastard. You have no proof. The young woman looks in her boyfriend's direction, seeming concerned. Read D20. Love is a drug. Hun, something wrong? Despite the intoxication, his girlfriend is now fully aware something's up. He turns towards her and stutters. So she doesn't know. You want me to enlighten her? You don't lower your voice when speaking this time. The girlfriend turns to look at him. Huh? What are they talking about? He takes a step towards you and gestures for you to hush, and starts talking in a low voice once more. All right, I'll leave you guys alone. Just please, she doesn't know. You nod complacently. Of course, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours, right? He sighs. Of course. And turns back towards his confused girlfriend's house. Come on, babe, let's go home. I talked to them. They really are friends of Etiene's. You sure everything's all right, she insists. Everything's cool. Come on, let's go home. Takes you by the shoulders and leaves. Take the bully effect card. Bully, I swear by the blood in me, if you so much as twitch in a way I don't like, I will remind you why you are called mortal. Aaron Conway. Plus 1 success to your next intimidation check. Discard after use or after the next chapter. So we got that one. You quickly exit the premises. Read event E6. Worrisome clues. You finally exit the ghoul's apartment. You make sure to blend into the crowd as soon as you're far enough. Once you're certain you haven't been followed, you make your way inside a small deserted alley and take out your cell phone. Time to report to the sheriff. Read Caleb Dialogue D1, which is page 83. Talking to Caleb. You take out your cell and dial Caleb's phone number. As soon as you're at a safe distance from Ettiene Saint-Denis' apartment, you made sure to lose yourself in the downtown crowd and that you weren't being followed beforehand. Thankfully, it looks like the coast is clear. Hello, Caleb answers. His voice is deep and commanding, yet oddly calming in a way. We're reporting in to tell you about something we just found. You can feel him tensing up on the other end. Read D2. Fighting a werewolf. Yes, Caleb drawls, expectantly awaiting an answer. We just got out of the ghoul Ettiene Saint-Denis' apartment. So you went there on your own without telling me about beforehand? His voice is cold. You try to appease him by telling him about your discovery. About that. He's making weapons there. Silver bullets. He said he's overheard the Sabbat mentioning how it's going to fight some creature in the sewers. We think it's a werewolf. You hear Caleb cursing under his breath from the other line. You think to yourself how odd it is to hear him, of all people, losing his cool like this. This just highlights the importance of what you've just discovered all the more. That would explain the weapons he was smuggling in the factory too. How'd you even get the keys to this place, and why didn't you tell me about this beforehand? The Sabbat could have been waiting for you. We know. Sorry we didn't mention it earlier. We just wanted to make sure. When you act on a hunch like that, don't just go in unprepared. I demand that you warn me about it beforehand from now on. We will read Dialogue D3, or, well, at least we found something useful, right? Read Dialogue D4. Yeah, let's go with D4. We're kind of snippy. We pulled this off. Meeting with the sheriff. You can almost see Caleb rolling his eyes at your statement. And you said this werewolf is in the sewer somewhere. Yes. Caleb goes quiet on the other end and for a few seconds and speaks up. Well, one thing is certain. This task requires a specialist. You can't just take care of this yourself. Meet me in my office in an hour. We'll talk about it. It'll be the last favor I ask you, and don't forget to destroy this phone as soon as we're done. All right, see ya. He hangs up before you can finish your statement. End of chapter 4. You can read the conclusion on the back of the narrative page. You walk downtown, narrowly avoid bumping into a couple of loud students passing by. They giggle amongst themselves. Their grating laughter reminds you should feed at some point tonight. I'm not even hungry. Earlier, Caleb received you in his office. You explained to him what happened at Ettiene Saint-Denis' apartment, as well as the information you discovered. No doubt about it, Sabbat is after a werewolf, but why? Fighting a werewolf is pretty suicidal for the most part, even by kindred standards. The less you mess with him, the better. What could this one possibly have that motivates the Sabbat priest to fight it? You wait for the light to turn green before crossing the street. This makes you chuckle. You're creatures of the night, yet you make sure not to jaywalk. It's a bit absurd, frankly. Your face becomes grave again as you think about the upcoming mission tomorrow. Caleb wants you to go fetch a certain Mr. Damp at the airport. Apparently, he's an expert at killing things. You can't help but be skeptical at the thought that one vampire alone, even a very skilled one, could take a werewolf down. Something snaps you out of your thoughts. It's a hobo. He's drunk and making his way towards a tiny deserted alleyway. The beast in you has spoken. Time to feed. Gain 5 XP and 3 boons. You may now play Chapter 5, Every Rose Has Its Thorns. So, I guess we'll do Chapter 5 before we do Chapter 3 then. Because, yeah, even with the silver dagger, we don't have any guns. So I'm not too... I mean, with the boons we've got, we could probably get a gun. I think I saw them in the boon list when I checked beforehand. So we could probably get guns to use, but it'd probably help to have an ally to fight a werewolf too. So we are going to get... So because this would take us up to 6 boons, 5 boons is equal to a major boon. So I'm going to take 1 major boon and then 1 minor boon just to match out what we've got there. And then we also get 5 XP, which is going to take us to 24 total. Where is my pencil? It is right there. Even though we've spent 10 of it. Or we spent 9 of it. So that gives us, what, 13? I think 14. No, 15. Wait. 19. Yeah, 15 XP. So we can either bump one of our attributes to level 3, which if we did physical would give us more health, and it would also give us an extra combat card. For 11 XP, we could buy 1 discipline, which real quick, I'm going to look at my disciplines that we have available to us, because I think level 2 necromancy is going to let us be able to summon a wraith. Okay, so our level 2 powers that we have available. Set those right there. For necromancy, command wraith, summon a wraith, take its summon state card. This effect ends when the Famulus is killed or at the end of the combat sequence. So we can summon a wraith. We can get shape change for Protean. Transform into a huge boa during combat. Add +2 dice to your physical-based skill checks and swap your combat deck with the snake combat deck. Effect ends at the end of the combat sequence. Or, for Auspex, we have 2 options. we can get Scry the Soul, reveal an NPC's current or next combat card. Effect ends after usage, which could actually be really helpful. Or Premonition. You see glimpses of the future, what is, what could be. Peek at a path in a dialogue sequence. You are free to choose this path or another. So that could also be really helpful to be able to see what is down one particular dialogue option. But real quick, gonna look at the snake cards. Combat snake form. Bite. It's 3 bites, 2 boa's grips, which give immobilize, and 2 whips, which give slow and 2 extra damage. So there's no defense or mix items in the snake form. I think the fact that we are going to be fighting the werewolf, I think it's going to behoove us more to not get Command Wraith yet, or not get Shape Change yet, just because we wouldn't be able to use any of our silver gear that we're picking up here, or that we have picked up here. So I think for the moment we will spend 11 XP on Necromancy 2 to get Command Wraith. Which is going to leave us with 4. I think that's all we'll spend right now. I think we'll hang on to that 4. Because with us playing Chapter 5, that'll give us at least 1 more set of XP we're going to get. We may be able to bump up one of our attributes. Or if not one of our attributes, we should at least be able to bump up a skill, because we only need 2 XP for a lot of our skills. So we will see. If possible, I would like, I'm hoping that we'll get at least, we would need 8 XP to bump up physical. So we probably won't wind up with that, but we'll probably at least be able to bump up one of our skills to 2. So anyway, that is where we are going to stop. Next time we will be continuing with Chapter 5. Every rose has its thorns. And hope you are enjoying the game. And we will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.